Academy Games is excited to offer a new challenging cooperative game, Freedom, the Underground Railroad. In the years before the American Civil War, there was an evangelical awakening in America. People increasingly began questioning the morality of slavery. Collectively, they became known as abolitionists. They came from all parts of society, and their contributions varied from distributing anti-slavery pamphlets and publishing papers like The Liberator to lecturing throughout the United States and Europe, promoting civil liberties for all people. However, the abolitionists who risked the most spent their own wealth and time to help operate the Underground Railroad, a secretive network of people guiding and hiding escaped slaves along routes leading from the southern states to freedom in the northern states as well as Canada. In Freedom, the Underground Railroad, 1 to 4 players take on the roles of abolitionists. Cooperatively, you build and finance the abolitionist cause while helping move slaves from southern plantations to freedom in Canada. But you'll be opposed by slave catchers that react to every move you make, along with negative laws and social events that you must together react to and overcome in order to win. Each game has 8 rounds, comprised of several phases, using dice. In the first phase, the slave catcher die and the movement die are rolled. These dice may initiate a surprise slave catcher movement, indicating if and what direction he is moved. Slaves are only caught on the spot where a slave catcher ends his movement. If slaves are caught, they are placed on the slave market cards. These cards continually supply the southern plantations with new slaves each round. Market cards are marked with the number of players in the game. Next, during the planning phase, tokens are bought and taken from the token portion of the game board, which is broken up into 3 periods of time in abolitionist history. Players may only take tokens from any active periods. There are 3 types of tokens available. Support tokens, which cost $10 each. They represent the growing strength of the abolitionist cause and control the group's advancement into new periods. Additionally, collecting the support tokens from all 3 periods also fills one of the victory conditions. Conductor tokens allow players to move slaves along paths during the action phase of the game. They represent the efforts of men and women offering refuge and guiding slaves along the Underground Railroad. The number above the cube shows how many slaves can be moved. The number above the arrow is how many spaces each of these slaves can move. Lastly, there are fundraising tokens. These tokens cost nothing and are one way of raising money during the game. The amount of money raised is determined by the time period and the number of slaves en route to freedom. During the 3rd phase, the action phase, players have several actions available which they use to advance their cause. Players may take advantage of their unique role and perhaps use that role's one-time special ability. They may play up to 2 conductor and or fundraising tokens. And they may buy 1 abolitionist card from the abolitionist queue. The cards represent pivotal event and key figures from the different periods. There are 3 types of abolitionist cards: general abolitionist cards and reserve abolitionist cards. They have a positive impact on the game, helping players move slaves, gain access to resources, or manage obstacles that they encounter. Opposition abolitionist cards represent the events and individuals that hinder work of the abolitionists. Now, if during the action phase a player is without recourse or funds, they may pass the action in order to take money. Lastly, during the lantern phase, the abolitionist card queue is restocked and the lead player token is passed. The rightmost card slides off the queue and into the discard pile, possibly triggering an opposition card. The remaining cards slide down to the end of the track and the open slots are filled. Winning the game won't be easy. All of the support tokens must be bought from each of the periods, and the required number of slaves shown on the victory conditions card must be moved to the freedom in Canada. While the game ends in 8 rounds, it is possible to meet those conditions before the 8th round. If you succeed, you can celebrate as the abolitionists did on January 31st, 1865, when Congress passed the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution.